Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my theory tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books that I have available. I've written how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's an exam technique guidebook and it's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the exam room on exam day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's loads more to come. And so now we're going to make a start on paper C of the grade 3 2017 practice papers. So if you grab a sharp pencil, always write in pencil even on exam day. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays sharp. You'll need an eraser no doubt and a ruler. So if you turn with me to page 11, we'll have a look at the first few questions in paper C. So I do suggest that you have a little go of this yourself. First of all, it doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. You'll learn more thoroughly than just by copying it through with me. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of this. And so now we'll have a look at this together. Question 1 asks us to add the time signature each of these 5 examples. And so we're going to have 5 separate time signatures. So be careful you don't presume they just continue on and you miss one and lose out on some marks. So let's look at each of these. So let's look at this first bar. Let's start where it's easy. I think we can see we grouped in 2s, so we're going to be in simple time. So I think our bottom number looks like it's going to be 4. So we're counting in quarter notes or crotchets. So let's start on the easy bit here. We've got a crotchet beat there. Half plus a half makes a beat. A half plus a half makes a beat. So we've got 1, 2 crotchet beats. Here we've got a half with a dot, which makes 3 quarters. And then we've got 2 eighths, which again make a quarter together. And we know that we beam in crotchet beats, so that's our extra clue. So actually we've got 1, 2, 3 crotchet beats, 3 quarter notes per bar. And that's our time signature. By all means, we can look ahead and double check in the next bar. So here we've got 4 demi-semiquavers, 30-second notes, which give us a quaver beat. We've got another 4 there, which gives another quaver beat. And so there we can see all together we've got a crotchet beat. 4 quarters of a beat make a whole. There's 1. And then we've got 3 quarters and a quarter, which give us another 1. And again, you can just see at a glance straight away, 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats. Let's have a look at the next bar. The next extract. So here I'm guessing that we're going to be counting in minim beats or half notes. So let's just make a start and presume that. So we've got 1 minim beat there. We've got another minim beat as a rest. And then we've got a whole note which divides into 2 half notes, 2 minim beats. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the next bar. 1, 2, 3 and a half. 4. The dot and the crotchet, the quarter note, will give us another 1. So we've got 1 beat there, 1 beat there, 1 beat there, and between the dot and the remaining crotchet there's another beat. So yep, we're counting 4 minim beats, 4 half notes, so we're 4 over 2. Let's look at the next one. Now here straight away you can see that we're grouped in 3s. That's the obvious bit there. So we're going to be counting in compound time. So we're going to be counting in quaver beats. So you can either just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that and the dot, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 over 8. That gives us the answer. And you can also see we're in quadruple time. 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, which gives us 12, 8. So that's that. By all means, you can look at the next bar. We've got one there, one there, one there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's that done. Let's look at the next one. Cracking on through these. So here, this is a slightly confusing bar with lots of tiny divisions. So let's just skip to the next bar, which looks a bit easier. Let's make a start with that one. So you can see we're in simple time. It's a very short bar, so I'm guessing we're going to be counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes. So our lower note, I think, will be 4. So we've got a half and a half, which gives us 1 beat. 3 quarters and a quarter, which gives us another. So that's 2 over 4. That's correct. Let's just look at this trickier bar now to double check. A half plus a half gives us 1. We've got a quarter of a beat here. We've got an eighth rest, eighth of a beat rest, eighth of a beat note. So those two together give us a quarter of a beat. And then we've got a half a beat here. A half and 2 quarters gives us a full beat. If, like me, you struggle with just dealing with plain old math, I always visualise a whole beat, divide it into quarters. So we've got a half a beat here, that's all that bit gone. We've got a quarter of a beat here, that's that bit gone. And then this bit divides into 2/8, and both of those have gone. And we can see that gives us a whole crotchet beat, a whole quarter note. So that's just how I find it easier to visualise. Let's look at this last one. Now here we've got very tiny divisions. This is the easy peasy bar. We can't count in crotchet beats or quarter notes because we're going to have an extra half of a beat hanging over. So we're going to be counting in quavers or eighth notes. And you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 over 8. That's the easy bar that will give you the answer. By all means, we can double check this next bar. Don't be put off by the triplets. Remember, that's just 3 in the time of 2. And 2 semiquavers, 2 16th notes gives us a quaver each. So we've got 1, 2, and there's another one, 3. So that's that question complete. Let's move on and look at question 2. So question 2 asks us to add rest or rests. That's the important bit there at the places marked with a star in each of these 2 melodies. So watch out, we've got 2 separate time signatures here. So remember that overall the rule is that every new beat requires a new rest. There are just a few exceptions, and we always need to show clearly the start of each new beat, just as if we were beaming the notes. It's the same principle in rests, just as it would be in notes. So 6/8, we're in compound time, and we need to be reflecting the duple compound time. And you can see that's reflected in the beams here, and we also need to reflect this in the rest. So we're going to have to show that and that. So we need to clearly show those 2 beats. So we can start at the end of the bar, and we know that that is that group of 3 quaver beats, 3/8 notes. And so here we've got to complete this one. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Now it's worth noting that that would be acceptable. However, that is not, and that's why I've put 2 separate quaver beats. And I can only think that it's because it's easy to see that that reflects the dotted crotchet beat. So you've got the rest sort of showing that here. We can't go the other way around. So that's just something to worth notice. If you've got your bigger beat first, the bigger part of the beat first, you can finish it with a quaver, but you can't do that the other way around. And that will show here actually, because we've got one group of 3 here, and then here we wouldn't do that. We can now do that because that very clearly shows that compound group there. So you're doing kind of the same thing in 2 different ways on each of these bars. So a little bit tricky there. And then this last bar, we've got 1, 2, 3. There's our first compound group. So to show the duple time, there's our second beat. That's that one completed. Let's look at the next one. So we're in common time now, which is 4/4. And so we need to show that really in terms of rest. So we've got 1, 2, 3.5 beats. We need to complete this final beat, and so we just need a quaver rest, a half a note rest. Now here, this is where we're going to have to just bear in mind, when you are beaming notes, remember that you can't beam across the middle of a bar in 4/4. You wouldn't be able to beam over the bar, and so we wouldn't just be able to put a 3-beat rest to complete this bar, because that would break over the middle of the bar. It's the same rule that applies, and I presume it's because it's such a massively long bar, you need to help the performer to see the two halves of the bar. And so we're going to finish this half of the bar first, so that shows that there, and then we could do that. However, because it's the whole half of the bar, what we can do is just add a half note or a minim beat rest. So that would be the correct answer, not that. There we go then, that's that one completed. So let's turn over the page and let's have a look at question 3. So we're going to be looking at some intervals now. So for half of the marks, all we need to do is count the steps or the degrees between the interval. We've got harmonic intervals, which means that they come one on top of the other, but it doesn't change the way that we count it. We always count upwards. So to begin with, this first one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We know that it's a fourth. That's half the marks done straight away. And actually a fourth, we don't have major or minor, we just have perfect, and so that's easily done. Fourths, fifths and octaves, that's kind of job done. Let's look at this next one. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's half of the marks. And now we just need to think about what we've got going on here. So that's a B. And then we've got B, C, D, E, F, G. We've got an F sharp and a C sharp, so that's a B natural to a G natural. Now that's part of the minor scale, so that's a minor sixth. If it was a major interval, B major has G sharps, and so it's not got the G sharp, and so it must be a minor interval. Remember, a minor interval is smaller than a major, so from B, so we'll go from this B here, pretend that there's a B, we run out of space, so from B to G sharp would be part of the major scale. B to G natural is a smaller step, and that's a minor interval, so it's part of the minor scale. Just different ways of thinking about it. Now here, this is still a harmonic interval, but the reason they're not placed one on top of the other is just because it's so close. If they were placed one on top of the other, they kind of overlap, and so they have to just position them next to each other. So we've got a 1, 2, it's a second next door note. So we're going from F to G, and G is part of F major scale, and so it's a major interval. It's a bigger interval. It's part of the major scale. So let's have a go at this. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an eighth or an octave. You can say either of those. And so it's perfect. So let's go from here. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got a seventh. Now there's a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats, and we've gone from C to B, F, G, A, B. However, it's B natural. They've cancelled the flat. And B natural is part of C major scale. C minor should have a B flat, but it's been made natural. And if you notice, C to B flat, that's part of the minor scale. The major interval is bigger by a semitone. So that's a major seventh. Oh, I've already written 7th, don't need to do that again. There we go. And so that's that question completed. We'll look at the next question in the next video. I do hope that you found that helpful. If you can give me a like and subscribe to stay updated, there's lots more to come. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I'm certainly enjoying working through it. Please do go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.